An LAPD officer nearly blasts another female officer in the head, and that's definitely not a good thing. Now, I still stand by remarks that I've made in the past that the LAPD patrol does things better tactically than any other agencies in the country, and I think that's going to be displayed in this video because they do a lot of things well. If you're not subscribed to the channel, it would be cool if you were, and if you are subscribed, it would be helpful to the channel if you turn your notifications on, and more importantly, you show up when I drop a video. I'm actually going to pause the video and talk over it a little bit because it's just easier than retracing the entire video. So what you're seeing here is this female suspect who is breaking windows in this apartment complex, and multiple patrons of the complex have called the police and reported that she was vandalizing the apartment.
Thank you. Brittany, you're DCO now?
So she just said, "You're DCO now," and that is a really great thing that LAPD does. They actually have a designation called DCO, Designated Cover Officer, and this just reinforces the behavior that you want to see, right? Sometimes departments will use cover officer or I'm covering, but having an actual terminology attached to the thing you want to happen means it's more likely that it's actually going to get done.
Basically what we got is a 5150. As you can see, she broke out all of these windows, causing a felony vandalism. We asked them if we can do an IR, name her as a suspect. They all demanded, nope, we want to arrest her, so that we got to go in. She's definitely having a mental episode. She's refusing to come out. She's saying that she has something in her hands. She used a bat to break out these windows. So just be cognizant of that. Amy was notified. She has prior contacts. Yeah, we got the key, sir. Thank you. Prior contacts, so she's violent, is mentally ill.
She just said that they asked the complainants if they just wanted to simply do a report, and they responded by saying no, they actually want her to go to jail. And so she's just briefing these officers. I believe that this is the supervisor here talking to these officers that just showed up.
RA's coming in, they're going to stand by, but we got to make entry. We got Brown as our DCO, and then we have all less lethal, okay? So you guys are gonna help out with the rest. Okay. I told them as soon as they open it up, if they have eyes on her and they see something, immediately hit her with the taser. We already know she's might be armed. If she runs back into a room, we're not all gonna chase her. We're gonna let her run in, and then we'll slowly clear the house, and then we'll stack on the next door. Okay.
Everything this supervisor said right here should be taken and used in classes for supervisors, because this is exactly what they should be doing, or just any officer should be doing at a certain point in time in a scene, is establishing roles and responsibilities and developing a plan. And if she does this, we're going to do that. And not only is she doing that, but the plan that they come up with is a really great plan.
Tiffany, last chance.
I'm just gonna go on the
Want to come step out?
Okay. Tiffany, we're gonna come in if you don't open the door.
One of the problems that you could run into is when you decide that you're going to set up crisscross on a door. There's kind of two different methodologies behind this. If you're going to set up crisscross on a door, it's really important that you own the space inside the room that you're looking into from the outside, from the threshold, and you don't give that up. Because what happens occasionally is officers give that up, and now you have a suspect walking out potentially with a weapon, and now you have yourself in a crossfire situation.
Just back up, Meg.
Go hit her. Hold on.
This is the moment where the officer almost shoots the other officer in the head, and I'm going to play it back here and explain exactly why this happened.
Go hit her.
First of all, the officer who is up front is the officer with the taser and not the cover officer. Lethal coverage needs to be primary, and less lethal coverage needs to work around the primary officer. They could have mitigated this by simply having the cover officer, first of all, up front, and then once the door comes open, the cover officer pushing across the threshold. And at that point, now we will have lethal coverage on one side and less lethal coverage on the other side. So this is another view of what happened before the officer discharged her firearm. And the first thing to know is that there's just way too many officers trying to crowd the space, or crowding the space. What you want to do is you want to send a limited amount of people forward to deal with a specific problem, because officers 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 are simply getting in the way, and there's really nothing that they're going to be able to do in that moment to help you. And you see the officer who is behind the primary officer, she's the one with lethal coverage. And as the situation develops, she moves from the left side to the right side of the officer, and you'll see here where she almost shoots the officer in the head. This is the moment right here where she discharges her firearm. You can see the female officer's head is pulling away, and this is obviously not great. Could have been mitigated by actually having the cover officer up front, being primary, and having less lethal work around the primary officer. This is just going to be a continuation of the first round that she fired because she fires 2 rounds. So I just want you to see the entire sequence here.
Hold. Come on this side.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Okay, hands up. Give her commands. Give her
Put
commands.
your hands up!
Roll
Put
inside.
your hands up!
Roll inside.
Put your hands up! Put them up! Put them up
Give her
right
commands
now!
to get down.
Come down to your knees! Come down!
Hold on. Hold on.
She locked herself inside.
Okay, all right. You're my DCO. Holster.
Yeah.
Okay, hold here. Get covered. You got eyes?
No, door's open.
Okay,
No, her door's closed.
which door is she on?
She's in the back one. Right door.
Pretty sure this is the supervisor talking. She's recognizing, hey, we just had an engagement. We can slow down. There is no rush in this very moment. And everybody has an opportunity to collect themselves before making any further decisions. So that's really good.
Back door. Back door.
Okay, just hold. Anyone else shoot? No.
Go.
This is going to be the perspective of the officer with the CED or the taser up front.
Talk to her while she comes
Shoot
up.
me, because I'm not going to hit you.
We don't wanna shoot you, ma'am.
Because I don't want you in here. But come on.
We don't want to shoot you.
You hurt me.
Let's move on.
You hurt me.
Just unlock it.
You hurt me.
Unlock it.
You fucking hurt me. You fucking hurt me. You fucking hurt me. Ready? You fucking hurt me. Right away. Get the fuck out. Get the fuck out.
Back in there.
Get the fuck out. Do it.
Now, the CED or the taser is probably not effective here because this lady doesn't have a lot of muscle mass. Therefore, there isn't muscles to tense up.
Tiffany! This is Los Angeles Police Department. We don't want to hurt you further. Come on out. Tiffany, come out with your hands up. Tiffany! This is Los Angeles Police Department. Come out with your hands up. Did the help go well?
Yeah, you're good. Okay, let's step forward and just hold it that wall right here. All right. Unholster. Let's clear the kitchen.
Hey, Tiffany, let me see your hands.
At this point, they are executing the very plan which the supervisor laid out earlier in the video, which is really good.
Hands right now. Hands up.
I said sorry.
Put your hands up and walk towards me right now. No, you listen. Put your hands up, turn around and walk towards me. Tiffany, walk towards me. We don't want to hurt you further.
Okay.
Put your
Give
hands
me the
up.
holster.
Turn around.
You're
Put
gonna
your
be my
hands
arrest,
up and
okay?
turn around. Tiffany, we're getting an ambulance to help you. So you need to put your hands up.
Holster.
Tiffany, you need to put your hands up and turn around. Okay, put your hands up, Tiffany, and listen to my voice right now. Put
These are
your
my
hands up,
arrest
turn around and walk towards us. We don't hurt you further. Don't fight us. Turn around. Walk backwards to the sound of my voice.
Now, you can mitigate a lot of problems by identifying something could be a problem before it actually happens, just like the lethal coverage not being up front and there being a conflict of fields of fire. You can mitigate that problem by identifying it beforehand. In this situation here, you have the primary officer up front with lethal coverage. You have somebody who's saying they're going to go hands to the left on the left side of the hallway. And then behind the person with lethal coverage, you have an officer with a less lethal shotgun. Now imagine a scenario where this lady runs out of this back room with something in her hands. What do you think the officer with the less lethal shotgun is going to do? Well, probably say, oh, and then try to do something and be in conflict potentially with the other officers up front who are now also probably moving around. So we can have somebody who is hands, and we do need to establish that. But instead, let's get the less lethal officer up on the left side of the hallway, the lethal officer on the right side of the hallway. That way, if she comes out, we can engage her with less lethal first, because that's what we want to do before actually shooting them. And then once we get the suspect in a compromising position, or just makes sense to pull less lethal off, or you can do that, and then the hands officer can make the arrest. If you notice, the female officer actually think it's a 40 and not a shotgun, less lethal shotgun. She's just kind of hanging out. She's not in a position of domination. She's very far away from actually being able to deploy that thing if the suspect comes out of the room and presents herself as somebody who needs to be dealt with less lethal.
Our officers are accounted for. We're just taking the subject because the suspect's not planted this time.
Hands up where I can see them. And walk backwards to the sound of
All
my voice.
officer accounted for 391 arrest closed. 10 to take the suspect
I'm
in
gonna go
custody.
further so long as you don't close my eyes.
attack me.
Listen. Listen.
Another class.
Tiffany,
Sure,
listen
Roger.
to me.
This is not today.
Walk towards me. You don't want this to get any worse than it is. Walk towards me with your hands up, where I can see your hands. Come on. You're doing good.
Hands up, hands up.
Now, if you were set up properly with less lethal coverage on one side and lethal coverage on the other side, this would be the moment, or even a little bit before this, where you're pulling off a less lethal coverage and that hands officer who's going to make the arrest is actually coming forward. Now, there really isn't anything much more to this video. They actually just take her into custody. She wasn't hit by gunfire, and they either take her to the hospital or they take her to jail. Again, I just like to reiterate that LAPD appears to me to be the best, patrol tactics agency in the country. And that's because they do a lot of things very well, a lot of things that most departments aren't doing or aren't thinking about. I heard that